Earlier this week, there was the BAFTA Awards, and there was an incident between Michael B. Jordan, Delroy Lindo, Tourette's having white folk in the audience, and that caused him to say the N-word.
Take a note of what happened. Michael B. Jordan, Delroy Lindo were presenting an award at an award show, and an individual from the audience shouted out the N-word.
Vital part of movie making.
Now, here is context. That individual suffers from coprolalia. It affects 10 to 15 people that have Tourette syndrome. And that syndrome, it causes you to say obscene or harmful things. But that's not this conversation. This conversation is about the ask for the extension of grace without receiving that same grace. There's a difference between intent and impact. I understand that. I'm sure you understand that as well. That individual did not necessarily intend to harm the presenters. But what about the impact? Because there is indeed an impact. What about the impact of hearing a word that has for years meant the marginalization? What about hearing a word that has for years defined the undermining of black and brown individuals? What about a word that for years black and brown individuals heard and the last word before they were brutally lynched and murdered? What about the impact?
Yeah, so I've been watching that clip all week. That shit was wild, man.
I didn't tell you where it was at, Ocho. They didn't care.
You didn't? Well, no, I don't think it was who didn't care.
He's saying why didn't they edit it?
Oh yeah,
stuff
the
like
people
that.
behind the scenes didn't edit it because they didn't give a shit.
Of course,
They had time to edit out all this
everything else that was not considered what they had enough time. See, that lets you know.
I have this one burning question though.
Yeah.
I just have this one burning question.
What's that?
He's never blurted this word out before.
Oh, he's blurted it out before.
He's had to.
So in the article, it says that before the event, he made it clear. He told them straight up, I'm nervous. I'm concerned that my tics could distract the audience or interfere with the tape. And they reassured him. They told him not to worry. They promised that anything audible would be edited out before the broadcast. He accepted that. He figured it might be an uncomfortable moment, but at least it wouldn't be televised. Mind you, when he arrived, he chose to sit about 40 rows back. Then he said he found out when he woke up the next day that his tics were audible and they were in the broadcast. But he said he had some other controversial tics and they were edited out. But they kept the tick about Michael B. Jordan and Delroy.
My thing is, what I have is, especially everybody come to the defense. You even had a black young Tourette syndrome. She came out try to defend.
People saying, "Oh, well, why would that even be in his vocabulary? He did that on purpose and all of this stuff." I'm not going to say that people can't be offended by the fact that somebody said the N-word as a tick. However, it's not something that somebody can control. It's not something that somebody wants to say. And I've been seeing a lot of people be like, well, he said it like when the crowd went silent. That is most likely when a tick is going to happen when you're in public, when you're in complete silence, or when you're trying not to say or do something.
But I'm sitting here like, even as you sitting here talking to us, you are refraining yourself from saying the word.
Said, has he blurted this out before? This is
I'm sure.
No. I'm not. No, not did he blurt it out before.
Oh,
during the whole show.
This just the only outburst you had?
Right. He had other bursts. That's facts. There was other bursts throughout the show.
And here I have the nominees for the next award. Oh my God. Who said that? Oh my gosh. Him? You got by that. Dude, hey, he has Tourette's. With me having to. Oh, see, what? Oh my God. All I know was by that.
So from my understanding, because I saw that girl you were talking about who had the Tourette syndrome, and she said silence is sometimes a trigger that causes it. So what she was saying is the silence is kind of what set him off and made him do that. Whereas if there's a lot of noise, it won't trigger him, supposedly. Now, my thing is, I get the mental issue. I remember Mahmoud Abdul-Rauf having this shit.
Exactly.
Without Tourette syndrome, I wouldn't be the player that I became. It wasn't enough just to make the shot. It was also how you made it. Like if it said to you, no, it's got to be swishes, they got to be swishes. All of them. I'm going to hype these ticks. You couldn't leave without feeling like you perfected that.
That's the only person I remember who had this same situation. But his was just throwing little light jabs during the interview and doing a little tick with his head. I ain't seen this white dude shoot 3-pointers like Mahmoud Abdul-Rauf.
or handle the rock,
Or handle
throwing
that
out
rock
assists.
like
No, he ain't got them basketball skills. But my thing is this: the real main issue is the fact that they did not censor the word.
And outside of not censor, you did not go and apologize to Delroy.
Well,
No,
I think
he did an apology, but the apology, my point, fell short. You should have you should apologize to the millions of people who had heard your ass. You should have made a direct apology to Michael B. Jordan and Delroy. You said it when they was there. He didn't do that. So you dropped the ball on that. So with that being said, even if I could give you a pass, I can't give you a pass.
And they say they should give him a pass on it. Not a pass. We need an apology. You need an apology for that. That was fucking crazy. Is that what he was really thinking? But Tourette's, makes you say it out loud. Now, what if there was a Jewish man up there and he said some crazy Jewish? What would happen then? It's like when people get dementia. When you'll see these old white people get dementia and their caretakers are black, but they always end up calling them and all this. They don't forget that. They forget their family. They forget memories from the past, but they always remember to say to them. Always never forget the race.
Well, it sounds like this condition itself is just a condition that does not prevent you from withholding your racist thoughts, because that was in his heart. You can't subconsciously say something that you don't mean, that's not in your heart. So this was one of those incidences, and it's very sad because when it comes to Tourette's, I've heard this situation before. I watched this 2020 expose back in the day on a guy who had Tourette's, and they said when he was in a department store and he saw black people, he would have to shout out loud nickels, dimes, and quarters so he wouldn't slip and say the N-word.
Nickel, dime, quarter, $2.
He says nickels to try to keep from saying fifth.
Nickels, dimes, quarters.
I remember that when I was watching it as a teen.
Quiet places like libraries, theaters, or stores bring out the most swearing.
I mean, Polish prince of penis.
And then they said, because if he doesn't say the word nickel, this happens. And then he yelled out the N-word in front of a department store full of black people. So
there was an LA Law episode. Do you guys remember that episode? There was an LA Law episode that was very similar to this. In order to try to soften it, he would say, at the end of it, he would say dimes, quarters. So it sounds like he was saying nickels. So he would say the N-word and he'd go, nickels, dimes, quarters. I don't know if you guys remember that.
I've seen this condition happen before on TV. The thing that Delroy Lindo said, he said it was kind of up that you didn't tell us about this beforehand, because when me and Michael B. Jordan were out there, we just saw a white guy shouting the N-word at us. Had you told us that this guy had a condition that might cause him to say that, it would have gave us a little bit more preparation in case it happened. So they were completely caught off guard.
Probably could have had a weak ass damn joke that, backhand that shit.
Yeah. Michael B. Jordan could have used that. He could have been like, no, that white guy said I'm that. Yeah, that's all.
You know what I'm saying? You ain't get, like I said, the network failed on all sides.
Is there any positive Tourette's? Is there any Tourette's where the white guy's like, the black man is God? It's always the N-word. Like on the 2020 expose, it's never positive. Aren't there some good-hearted people with Tourette's that say positive things?
I'm sure it is.
Stay in school.
I'm sure it is.
Yeah. Use a condom. Yeah. So
say no to drugs.
Yeah, we're gonna see how that BAFTA incident goes. Most likely, they just won't let that die down.